All right, so here we are. Good morning and good welcome to everyone. I just want to welcome Carl Kosola from Kosola Productions. Carl was a client of mine, and we kind of wanted to get an idea of what he was doing before he met me, and kind of talk to him a little bit of questions. Carl, welcome, man. How's things going?
Oh, things are going great, Frank. Thanks for asking. Really, before I met you, I was growing my company up here in Pennsylvania. I'm in Montgomery County, Pennsylvania, right outside of Philadelphia. I mainly stay in the suburb area of the section up here in Pennsylvania for the most part with my clientele. We do travel from time to time. Really what winded up occurring was that I had another career, and about back in 2017, that career was coming to an end. Still photography. I was a photojournalist, and I was growing my company alongside that for years, just trying to understand the business, understand the craft, perfect my type of style of shooting, and also building relationships. And that career came to an end. And it was probably one of the greatest moments where I could walk out and basically be happy that I was, I already had a plan in place and I was moving. So basically the people that were close to me were working with me. I was booking some jobs here or there, and then growing, obviously, as I was out there more, because I was 100% in on my company at that point. And then we started to approach COVID, and that time period that was starting to approach. And 2019, end of 2019 ended great. Started, really feeling great about the wedding industry, the relationships that I was building. I felt that the people that were working with me, I had a solid team. And when things started to shut down and things started to slow down and completely come to a halt, obviously that's when Frank and I met over the pandemic, him being in Florida and me being up here in Pennsylvania. So that brings us to that point, and we'll take it back to you real quick.
So you when you thought about it, I mean, what gave you that opportunity? You know what? I need to talk to Frank. I mean, what was going through your mind when you reached out? I mean, because getting a coach involved always is a big step. So what made you go, he's the guy I need to talk to right now?
So we met through networking, and we were on these calls weekly. And I started to gravitate towards, I started sitting there and started saying, okay, it's nice that I'm meeting a lot of people and hearing the stories, and obviously, being able to chat with these people. But I started to gravitate towards the positivity and the success type, stories of, what can I do for you type mentality. And your voice was really just positive. You had that positive attitude. I'm attracted to people that are positive and want to succeed. I don't like people that make excuses. Although we all do it, we all sit there and say, oh, if only this happened, why, X, Y would occur. But, you have to ream yourself in. But when we started chatting, I just had a good feeling about some of the things that you were talking about. I had kind of a sketch of a plan, a theory of what I was going to try, because trying something and going down and swinging, trying is better than trying nothing and hoping everything's just going to magically come back. Right. So I would say really your personality, and really, being confident that, hey, I'm going to listen to what you're going through, and I'm going to come up with a plan with you, alongside of you. Not, you didn't say, I'm going to tell you what to do. Many business coaches say, I'm going to tell you what to do. And maybe that's the way that they're successful with their business coaching. you kind of said, I'm going to guide you. I'm going to that was the words that started to really resonate when I was laying in bed and waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning, worried and concerned what's going to happen. I kept thinking, all right, this guy's got some guidance here. What's it really going to hurt if I talk to him and kind of explain what's going on and say, hey, listen, I want to try this. Am I crazy? Do you have a plan? Can we come up with a plan? And really, honestly, when I talked to you, we were already clicking through those phone calls. But when we chatted and you kind of said, hey, listen, it's not crazy what you're thinking. I think it's a solid plan. Let's fine tune it. Let's tweak it. Let me come alongside of you. Let me kind of guide you down that path to success. And if you can do this, if you have problems, give me a call, or if you have questions, give me a call. And I didn't feel pressured. I didn't feel like, oh my God, I gotta, go down this list. And it was really, you basically said, here, you already have a plan. Here's a way to tweak it. Here's a way to make it, get you on that path to success. Good luck. See if you can want to do it. Because a lot of people I know, they say, oh yeah, I'm going to try this. And then 6 months later, they still haven't tried it. Right. So for me, it was really, what can I forget 6 months? What can I do in the next 6 hours, the next 6 days to affect 6 months from now in a successful way?
Right. No, that's great. And that's the key thing there is that, again, we went through a couple of techniques together. And again, for those people that are watching, is that we use that mindset aspect, and we approached it with a methodology, and we really put together the momentum. And as we did all that stuff, I know that we've shared in past calls and talks together and some of the things that have changed. But now, what does your life look like now that we've worked together and you've went through the program and you've kind of really looked at all the facets that we shared together? What's life like for you now?
Well, really, I'm just going to circle back real quick. The one word you said was mindset. So the mindset was that no matter what was going on, no matter what was happening economically in my area that was affecting my income in a negative way, I was going to come up with a plan to reach my audience and be able to connect with them, answer questions, be that guide for them. And that was really the mindset that you really put in my mind. You really basically reprogrammed my mind to the point where it was, okay, you have, nothing to lose. Try this and keep injecting yourself with positivity every single day and see what happens. And then slowly it was, okay. And I think it was probably around February we talked of this year. And then it was, okay, March is coming. And then April was our big plan of what I was going to do. And when April happened, I did my event that I had virtually, and it reached everybody. And there was some immediate success, but then it was, okay, economically things are opening. People are looking to hire people. They've already chatted with me, and I have a head start on all my competition. Mm. So now, all of a sudden, the calls started coming in. Then it was May. Then it was June. Then it was July. Then it was August. And then it started to really just explode, where every single day, every single week, I was getting calls, inquiries, emails, text messages where people were saying, hey, we've heard of you, or hey, I was at your virtual event, or hey, I was chatting with somebody that said they used you, and it all of a sudden there was just this big bubble that exploded. And there's people that say, okay, well, was it because of the buildup demand? Sure, there was demand that was built up, but it was because you put my mindset to prepare for that bubble to explode. I was already ready to capitalize on that bubble to explode, as opposed to competition. They were waiting for just the random calls. They were waiting for that. And look, I'm sure that many of them were successful, but my mindset of positivity to keep going through that tough time that really was a healthy thing for me, and my business, because I was able to, stay focused all throughout that time to say, it's going to work, it's going to work, it's going to work. And when it worked, all of a sudden it was, wow, this is unbelievable. Now you say, what's life like now? Well, I had two people on my team that are reliable subcontractors that I use. Now I have five that are reliable subcontractors that I use regularly for all my events. Moving forward into, I would say, when the bubble exploded and what life looked like, busy's good, really busy is even better. I had the busiest September on record. It started in August. Let's say August was good. September was the busiest September I've ever had. October was good. A lot of that had to do with dates that were open. It was a little bit out of my control. It wasn't like I was receiving phone calls saying, hey, we're going to push it off a year because we really want to get married in October, but they don't have any more dates. Yeah. So it was so bubbled up that a lot of people were not ready for the idea that the dates were going to be booked. And then November came and I thought, okay, no, how long can this keep going? And it dipped a little bit. It dipped a little bit where there were some times where there was some good breathing room to be able to catch up, to be able to make sure that all the work was going back out to the clients on time. But I would say that dip lasted about 2 weeks. Wow. And then it went right back up where December hit. And not only was I busy in December, I was busier deeper into December than I've ever been. It was December 16th, where all of a sudden that was like the last job before Christmas and the holiday. And, then that was that. I even went out yesterday and photographed something minor yesterday just to get a jump start before everything goes out. So, that's what life looked like from August all the way till now. And, what's crazy is my January looks solid. Probably compared to 2019 January, it's probably the same or maybe even better. I have to actually look because I've never had to actually look to see how that comparison is. I would say also, I just actually, before we talked, I looked up some numbers that I finalized. My success rate is at 80 to 85%. Wow. Success rate, closing rate, as opposed to, and again, I had to manually go in and kind of calculate the numbers, but the success rate, was down in the 45 to 50 range prior to this. And a lot of this, like I said, it had to do with your mindset, finding tools to continue to succeed in this type of economy, this type of change of lifestyle. I think I'd shared with you before we started chatting that I talked to a bride who's planning their wedding around here, but she's currently living in Italy. I was able to connect with her and close the deal like that. So, having those face-to-faces, utilizing the tools that have been presented to us through the past 2 years, and saying, I'm not going to go back to the way everything was completely. I'm going to embrace that, but I'm also going to embrace all the tools that were there over the past 2 years, because many people are just resorting back to, they're creatures of habit. They're going to go right back to what used to work, what always used to work.
Yep.
And I feel like I'm going to be a couple steps ahead.
That's awesome. That's great, Carl. I mean, it's great to hear. And I'm guessing you had a pretty successful year. I'm gonna assume.
I still got to run the numbers, but I would say that I'm still trying to calculate all the numbers just to make sure I didn't miss anything. But I would say that this was a highly successful year. It could be the best year that I had, even though the first quarter of the year was non-existent. So that's pretty impressive if 3/4 of the year was better than a full year in years past.
Yeah, that's awesome. So and not to take up any more of your time, I wanted to kind of bring it down to a close so that you kind of, any last words, and again, moving forward, is there anything that could or would help you, or anything that you reflect on and you think, I'd love to see more of that. That was really great stuff that we worked on together. Anything that would help as far as moving forward.
Yes. I mean, it's one of those things where you have to reflect back throughout the year and say what worked.
Yep.
And I kind of started writing some of that stuff down for what I think worked, because you never really know unless you actually ask the client what worked. So things were moving so fast that you maybe didn't even have a chance to find out what worked. So a lot of that is just catching up and trying to find out exactly what worked. And then really, honestly, I would like to see something where, it's kind of a continuation of where we first started, where we can continue and say, okay, well, now that we have this existing relationship, and now that we are moving forward, is there some type of program like you're describing? It sounds like you're describing that program, a program where, I can check in and say, well, this is what I'm trying, this is what I'm doing, this is how I want to continue this, and like some type of like booster continuation type, program, something like that. I don't know. I mean, I'm thinking out loud with it.
Yep. Perfect. So, any last words? Anything you want to close with? Anything that you want to share with anyone?
Frank, you know how to get in people's minds. You have this special gift where it's not threatening. Like I said, people get intimidated, they get threatened when they're talking to maybe somebody that's more knowledgeable, or more successful. You kind of just come alongside of people, you build that strategy with them, you talk about strategy, because you have to see where people are really thinking of going, because you don't want to lead somebody down a path, I guess, that won't work. How does that help anybody? So I would say that your ability to get in people's minds and set their minds on a positive path is one of your strongest assets. And I would say that your ability to form a strategy alongside of those businesses, I think, is amazing.
Thanks, Carl. I appreciate that. Well, again, I appreciate your time, and thank you so much for everything that you've accomplished. It's great to see. I love to see the successes, obviously, that my clients can get, and to be able to share those, and to be able to share it with other people so that they can see the benefits of having a good, strong coach in their corner.
Oh, absolutely. Well, thank you, Frank.
Thank you for so much. I'm going to stop the recording.